All right, now we're going to move on to our pre-sketch for the rose drawing with that bokeh background. And I'm going to ask you to do it freehand, and I'll give you some tips here. You've done this kind of thing before if you've had this class for a bit. But the first thing I want you to do is kind of just estimate a border that's about as thick as your finger. I just call it a one-finger border. Remember, this border is going to be kind of fuzzy, so this is just an estimation, a way to let our flower kind of fill up a nice space. And I've selected the one without a background. Some of the other ones have a background, so what I did with this, because some of the white petals blend into the background, I did my best and I kind of outlined where I thought the edge of each petal was. Even over here a little bit, a few petals in here where white was next to white kind of thing, and I wanted to make sure I could kind of see what's going on. All right, first thing, whole to parts. This is kind of drawn lightly at first, so I'm always looking back here. This flower, I'm going to do landscape because it's definitely wider than it is tall, so I want that to fit. And it's not going to be a perfect drawing, but we'll get pretty close. So if I just kind of went like this, and I went like that, and I'm kind of almost just kind of outlining it with some single lines, I could think of the angle, just from that tip to this tip. There's an angle there. And there's another kind of a swoop here. You're estimating. There's kind of an upper indent right here maybe. And again, all these things can be moved and adjusted later. As it comes around the corner, there is a little tip sticking out. And again, that can be moved later on. Let's see, now I can start to ask myself where are some major shapes happening. And again, these preliminary lines are long and kind of gestural. I'm not trying to draw a little detail. Don't do that. And draw kind of lightly as well. So I can just right now estimate where that petal is. And again, I'm not trying to draw every curve yet. I'm just kind of getting this pretty much with straight lines. Hopefully you can see that, what I'm doing. At this point, if I feel like that's kind of in the right area, I like to make a little spot for where the collection of the smaller petals are. That is just from this intersection, it's down and to the left a little bit. So down and to the left a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of make a circle there, just to kind of as a placeholder. And again, that may change a little bit. Now, I like to draw some things, the things that are in front first. Again, always knowing that I can change them. So there's this U shape here as the top of this petal, kind of that's overlapping or coming out at us. And I'm going to kind of just make my best guess at it. Like, it definitely starts over here and ends way over there. So I'm going to start it way over here and kind of end it way over here to the left of our small petal area. Okay, connected to that is this arc, and it gets skinny, and it gets bigger here. Excuse me. And there's kind of a curve there. So now I can kind of play other things off of that. I can see how this petal on the outside cuts up into this line. There's that kind of overlap right there. And I think this might come down a little bit more. There might be a couple of little bumps and lumps, and it comes over there. And I'll just kind of do the bottom part here, and in time lapse I'll do a little bit more so it'll go really fast. Let's see, what else is going on? I see this curve cuts just to the right of where this bump is. So I'm going to let that one just kind of cut to the right. And I see how this next edge starts a little bit farther down. It kind of goes straight up. There's a little bit of a bend to it. Making contact with it is a little arc and a bend and a turn that way. That's how the petal kind of folds over. And the rest of this petal sweeps way over to the right with a curve. And again, all of these lines right now are just estimates. I might keep them, I might have to get in there and adjust them. So that's how you kind of get this thing going. When you get in here, you may have to add a little petal somewhere. You may have to delete a little petal, but they wind up being just little shapes. I'm going to give you a preview and show you this one that's already done. But you can kind of just see where all of those little shapes are. Don't worry about the value of them. Don't worry about shading yet. We're just trying to get all those petals and having them look relatively representational, relatively natural. And not everyone is going to be the exact right size. So let me finish this off really fast in time lapse. All right, there we go. Pre-sketch is done. Make sure you have darkened your outline so you can see through our final paper. If you happen to draw it a little bit over to the right or to the left, you can make that adjustment when you trace it. This one that I did previously, I did make it a little bit too far over to the right. So I moved my paper over to the right as well to get it more centered on the final paper. And just understand you're going to make mistakes. There's going to be lots of erasing, and it's not going to be absolutely perfect, but hopefully it's getting pretty close to your original photo. And remember, do lots of the angle finding. Okay, line things up. If you want that tip to be in the right place, it should be right about above where that little notch is, and that little notch is just underneath kind of where that tip is. So a lot of those kind of comparisons and measurements. All right, give it a go, and then we'll get on the final one.